Hey all, Tom Rand here from Tom's Big Spiders. Well, my intent for this week was to do a couple rehousing videos, but after some shenanigans in the beginning of the week, I kind of got behind on my feeding, so we figured, why not do another feeding video? I normally don't do a lot of these just because I try to focus on the educational aspect of the tarantula hobby, and I don't want to overdo it with the feeding videos. However, people always like them. Plus, it's usually a great way to kind of bring in new people. And keeping that in mind, I'd just like to take a moment to explain a couple things about this channel that some people just coming into it might not appreciate or understand. First and foremost, I do this for fun. It is not my career. I am a teacher by trade, and I absolutely adore tarantulas. So my love of teaching kind of combined with my love of these animals, and my goal from day one when I started my website, Tom's Big Spiders, back in the day, was to just make sure that folks were educated and to take some of the stress out of the hobby, because we know there can be a lot of information out there, and unfortunately some of it is sometimes packaged up very beautifully, so we're inclined to immediately think that it's good stuff, and it may not be. So it can be tough for people to go out there and do the research and use those critical thinking skills and kind of determine, what is the right answer? What is the correct way to keep them? And obviously there are many different ways to keep them, but what I try to do here is show stuff that has worked for me over the years. So you'll notice that a lot of my videos contain footage from several years back, because I try to trace from when I got them as slings all the way up to adulthood, so that people that are looking at that care sheet can go, hey, you know what, this guy at least raised them and should at least know what he's talking about, or at the very least what worked for him. Now, I cringe at being called a pet tuber or a YouTuber, because quite frankly, I never wanted to be on YouTube in the first place. I came over from my website when my daughter kind of convinced me that I could probably reach more people over here, because unfortunately not everybody has the time to sit down and read lengthy articles. So here we are. But I hate the pet tuber moniker, because unfortunately it has a very negative connotation, because many pet tubers, for them, it's not about the animals. It's about how many subscribers they can get, how much merchandise they can sell, and that's just not me. So if you're expecting that here, you're not going to get it. Hopefully the folks that I have here that have kind of watched my videos for many years now and have supported me seem to be a very intelligent group of people that recognize that, appreciate what I'm doing, and have chosen to stick around, and in some cases around long enough to share their knowledge, which is great. So you won't see ads on here. I don't like ads personally. I want somebody, and this is always my theory about it. So for the folks that are asking why I don't do advertisements, I want somebody who just picked up a spider, maybe didn't do their research, now has the spider in hand, to be able to get the information they need immediately and not have to sit down and, I don't know, watch an ad about manscaping, or worse still, maybe Petco, a pet store that tends to sell tarantulas and doesn't know very much about them. So that's my theory on it. I'm not in it to make money. My videos aren't the prettiest. In fact, go out and look at some of my original videos. They're downright terrible. I think we've improved quite a bit, but it's like the quality of something you'd expect on public access TV, and I'm totally okay with that. Again, it's not about flash and glamour. It's about getting good information out there. You'll notice I do a lot of rehousing videos, and as I've explained before, the reason for that is because it's the easiest way to catch the spiders out and about without teasing them out for a photo shoot. The idea is to allow the tarantulas to be calm, to not jack them up unnecessarily, and doing something like that puts them under undue stress. So I do a lot of rehousings because A, you can see what I put them into and I can talk a lot about them, and B, the spider's already getting riled up anyway because of the rehousing, so we might as well get some footage of it there. So for folks to come on and inevitably go, man, you do a lot of rehousing videos. Yes, I do a lot of them, and it's because it's the best spot to catch them out without riling up the tarantula. That's not what it's about. And a lot of folks will notice that my tarantulas seem to be more laid back and less defensive than some others, and I don't know if that's all luck. I'd like to think it's the way we keep them and the way that we try to encourage folks to stay calm, show calmness when we do the rehousings. So again, I know there's a lot of folks out there. I know there's competing messages. I know there's, great channels out there, beautiful channels, and quite frankly, much more popular channels out there that are doing the same thing. Just thought I'd take a minute to explain what I do, and the fact that I don't have a dog in this race. The point of doing these videos is because I really do enjoy teaching. I love these animals. They've helped me out many times. This is kind of my happy place, this room here with all of these spiders when I'm having a rough week. And I know for a lot of you it's the same, and all you want to do is write by your tarantulas. So I figure if I can be a person there that people can count on, awesome. If that doesn't make me the most popular one out there, I really don't care. I have the website, I have the podcast. We're getting a lot of different people in a lot of different areas. For me, it's not a popularity contest. I'm not here to be the biggest channel. Quite frankly, I respond to every comment, and if I had as many subscribers as some of them out there, I would have a hard time doing that, and I don't think I'd be able to just throw videos up and not answer people when they ask questions. So that's my quick run through. I feel like this is a good time to kind of go over that. For those of you who have always supported me, believe me, not only do I appreciate it, but Billy appreciates it. The whole family appreciates it. So thank you so much. So enough of me talking. Let's feed a whole bunch of spiders. All right, kick off our little feeding frenzy here. We're starting out with my big grown female Harpactira pulchripes, or the, the blue leg baboon. While she's walking away, let's drop a cricket in and watch her eat. So hopefully this one is gravid because we did try to mate her many times, although I'm not sure how successful we are, but fingers crossed. And the first time she molted out, they came in, they paired immediately and molted out. After that, there was zero interest. So hopefully, I would love to breed this species. I know Charles would love to have some babies. We'll see how it goes. All right, next up we have Harpactira baviana. Hopefully this one eats. Usually a pretty good eater for me. And here we go.
Oh, okay, there we go.
These guys usually eat really well. That's why I started with Harpactira. We don't do a lot of feeding videos. I want to do one today because I missed out on some feeding time dealing with some shenanigans this week. And I want to make sure we get it on there. Plus, they're kind of fun to do every once in a while. It's very relaxing. We're going to give it another one. There we go. And I got to go ahead afterwards and clean out her water dish because this one just molted again. And it looks like we have stuff in the water dish. And unfortunately, the webbing. Be careful with the... Well, people that put water dishes in and they run out of water very quickly and they think there's holes in them, the webbing will absorb the water and it can suck a water dish dry very quickly. So after we get done with this video, I'm going to go back and water them because we're going to kind of keep this one going along. But just know one of the reasons I feed every week is because it gives me an opportunity to make sure the water dishes are nice and full, to pull out any boluses and whatever other nastiness we need to pull out. So there we go, Harpactira baviana, beautiful little girl. Close this one up. Next up, Harpactira hamiltoni. There we go. You want it? There you go. I was going to say, she's looking a little chubby, but this is one of the slower growing ones. I got this one at the same time I got the other ones we're feeding, at least the ones in these enclosures. And she's grown a little more slowly, was a little more shy. The odd part is, and this is to show you that spiders don't always do what you expect them to do. We gave her an enclosure when we rehoused her that we thought she'd be able to do some burrowing under here. Unfortunately, I think what happened is I left too big of a space under there, so it just didn't, they like tight spaces. And if you leave a big space when you rehouse them, often they will not adapt to the hide that you gave them. I also tried to put some sticks up in here, which was an epic fail because none of them really did anything, but she is webbing, and so we'll see as she goes. I'm guessing she'll probably web this whole thing, but she's been very calm overall, so I'm not really concerned too much with her having a heavy webbing and becoming a defensive spider. All right, so she has eaten. All right, we're doing okay so far. Easy, girl. And the next one up, this little girl actually disappeared for quite a while after I rehoused her. I'm hoping the colors will come through because she's gorgeous. But this is the Harpactira or Harpactira caffreriana. I just dropped one right. Oh, that didn't. Oh. Yeah, try to follow that one.
There's no way.
Whoops. Let's see if she'll eat this one. Nope. Did she grab the other one?
Behind the water dish, I think.
Oh, I thought she had it.
She's beautiful anyway. She got a little spooked.
Yeah, that was my fault. Eat that cricket. Watch her for a minute, see if she eats one of them. Gorgeous spider, though.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Here we go. Here we go. Boom. And that's what patience will get. Oh my God, the colors.
Man,
That
she is
amber,
absolutely gorgeous.
That is one of my favorite. You know, every once in a while you get one and you look up pictures. You know, everybody does the same thing. We find a spider we want. We do the research. We see pictures of them online. Pictures I've seen of this one have not done her justice at all. She's going to go find the other cricket. Man, she's a stone cold killer. Look at that amber coloration. My Lord.
Keeps moving.
Yeah,
It's screwing me up.
I can always move the enclosure.
There we go. That's a lot easier.
So there she is. Harpactira caffreriana, I believe. It's those R's kill me every time. Gorgeous. If you can find these guys out, definitely pick them up. And we do have two other Harpactira species coming. I have Nemacensis. I never can pronounce that one right. I did have one of those that matured out male. And, oh God, I can't think of the other one. I'll have to put it in the comments, but I just ordered them because these are one of the genera of tarantulas. I'm trying to collect them all. Next up we have, whoa, hey, wait a second. I'm supposed to talk first. We have everybody, Hobby Staple, who's going to try to get out of here. So I'm going to have the lid ready. This is obviously the Lasiodora parahybana, or the salmon bird eater, or salmon bird eater. We'll drop another one in there. This one will usually take quite a few. Unfortunately, the crickets this week, the good news is they're smaller, which means they'll live longer. Bad news is they're smaller, so they're not quite as big of a treat for my big ones. But this girl I've had for quite a while, a big one. I think, what is she pushing? 8.5 inches or so?
She's
a
huge.
Really big girl. So we'll see. I'm always trying to get, and somebody did finally send me pictures, excuse me, of one that was about 10 inches before the molt. They had the molt spread out, it was 10 inches. So they can get large. It's just the majority of them I don't think get as big as people are expecting. Also, mine have not been as fast growers as I've heard some people report theirs are. However, they're still big, giant, gorgeous spiders. She's a big old, oh, you should see it. You got to get from the front here to see the just mess of cricket she has in her mouth. Ooey gooey. Yeah. Joe would love that. So beautiful girl. She's obviously right after a molt. She's more of a black overall coloration, and you can see those, what gives them the salmon pink common name, that pinkish on the knees and everything, which is really popping. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it's really popping off from my angle. So gorgeous spiders, big ones, very, very popular, hobby staple by far, and ones that almost everybody needs to keep at some point.
She's gorgeous.
She's a beautiful girl. Now let's put her back. All right, so next up we have Stumpy, who is my Theraphosa stirmi. Very excited to get this one. Her name is Stumpy because when we got her, she was a gimp, which is a spider that's missing a leg. I love getting gimps because, quite frankly, I love watching them grow the legs back. So know that if you get a spider, I've had people, freak out because they're like, I got a spider in the mail and it's missing a leg, or I bought a spider from a pet store, it's missing a leg. Not a big deal. It will grow back, and I would encourage people when they get a chance to experience that to watch it because it is kind of cool. So she did grow one of the legs back. It's just a little smaller. This one, last time I fed her, leapt all the way across the enclosure. Of course, this time she's going to make me look like an idiot. Oh, there she goes. And you can see the pink on the front 2 feet, which means she's a stirmi, and she's going to put her little butt back in there with the apophysis or apophysis, which we will be feeding in a moment. They have the pure, all of their feet are pink. And I believe the blondi has no pink feet, so it's one way you can differentiate them as slings. But hopefully this one, my last 2 stirmi that I had grew very, very quickly. Voracious eaters, a ridiculously fast growth rate. So hopefully this one will do the same. We're saying she. I don't know. It could be a male. Fingers crossed we get a lady. If not, I'll just keep buying them because I do want to have females of all 3 species of Theraphosa. All right, so next up we have my Theraphosa apophysis or apophysis. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Pick one that works for you. I have 2 of the, oh, that was cool. You can see all the pink feet that designate this is apophysis or apophysis. My buddy Charles had these for a while and was bragging and showing me, and I was so jealous of them, so I finally got 2. Now this one will be getting a rehousing. Both of these ones that we're not going to try to feed the other one because it looks like she just molted, so we're going to leave that one alone. This one just molted a little while ago. These are on the list for brand new houses. I do have them all set up, but I want to feed them a little bit before we move them. Now, let's see if we can, oh, don't kick. And there it goes. Just be a little careful. Very skittish. And part of the problem is, and I'll say it right now, there are lights all over the place, which she probably doesn't appreciate because she's out in the open. And the fact this enclosure is too small for her now. Last molt, she kind of filled in her burrow. She molted right up here. Now she's much too big for this one, so we're going to get her a much larger enclosure. Move on. So know that the next time you'll be seeing this young lady, it'll be in one of my rehousing and husbandry videos. And like the other Theraphosa, she's been growing very quickly, although not quite as fast as the stirmi or blondi, at least in my experience. But other people might differ. I know with my buddy Charles, his were growing like weeds. Still growing quickly, just not as fast as the other 2, but gorgeous spider. Let's go right in there. All right, next up we have Theraphosa blondi. Let's see if this is another one that's on the list for rehouse. It's getting a big enclosure like the LP that we just showed earlier. Oh my. Get her started. There's one. I love watching these guys eat. Oh my gosh. Not liking that. That was my fault. I was trying to drop the cricket in front of her. Just put him down here so she can scarf him up. Don't get too close because she may kick. So if you want to just kind of There she is, and you can see the hairs all the way. That's what differentiates the stirmis from the blondi, those hairs on the knees as she tucks away. At least we got a little footage of her. And I feel bad now because she's going away. So we're not going to muck with her much more because she's obviously scared and I just want her to eat. But at least I got to show her off a little bit. She is getting a big new enclosure. I have two of them. Both of them I have two females, and both of them are getting those big new enclosures. Can't wait to get them into those and be able to show them off. But I want to do something not so much bioactive, but I do want to have some plant ant for coverage and enough depth that she can burrow. Again, these are guys you want to keep moist, but not overly moist. You don't want to do the swampy thing that some people do. That's just a death trap for them. So there we go. Theraphosa blondi. All right, next up we have my Theraphosinized species Pura that I'm trying to fatten up because we did pair her. It did look like a successful pairing. Had to break them apart, and unfortunately we don't have great footage of that, but I will be running that. It's tough for Billy to keep the camera on when it's pure chaos and I'm trying to split two spiders up. It got crazy. But
next time I'll be more fun.
well, no, it was one of those ones I had such a good save, and I'm like, oh, good, I can show people. And it was tough to keep them on the screen the entire time because they were bonkers. But hopefully she's going to fatten up and have a nice sack because this is one of my new favorites. I know every tarantula is my favorite, but this one in particular has been one that I did not know what to expect when I got her, and both she and the male are gorgeous. And she's always out in the open, which is great when you have a pretty spider because then you get to see it more often, which is pretty obvious and probably didn't need to be said, but whatever. And we'll give her one more. There you go, girl. There you go. Eat it. And you can see some of those greens and the golds, just a stunning spider. She's turned into a beautiful showcase spider. Great eater, ravenous hunter. So hopefully I really, really, really want to get babies of these out there. That would be a huge thing for me. But we'll see how it goes. Oh, was there another one over there? Oh yeah, there's one in the corner. So fingers crossed. I'll obviously update people as she fattens up and hopefully has a nice big sack. So there we go, Theraphosinized species Pura. This is T. albopilosus, Nicaraguan form. Picked this one up a while back. Actually, it was one of the pet store grabs, but very excited about growing this one up. Usually a good hunter, as we can see there. The funny thing is the T. albos, I know a lot of people are bored by them. The feeding response on every T. albo I've kept has been fantastic. And they have those curly little fuzzy hairs.
Ah, she's so fuzzy, it's gorgeous.
She's actually calming down quite a bit. I've heard a lot of feedback from people. Well, when I first posted a husbandry video on T. albopilosus, which was albopilosum at the time, B. albopilosum, a lot of people came forward and went, yeah, but the Nicaraguan ones are crazy and they're a little more defensive, whatever. So we did take that into account. I think what was happening, sadly, was it was wild-caught Nicaraguans. What I've found so far, and having spoken to more people, they can be a little more high-strung, but most of theirs calm down when they put on some size, as this one did. She was nuts before. She's been calm lately, and hopefully she stays that way. Or he. I don't know what it is yet. So there we go. Fuzzy little ones. These ones pop up on all the beginner lists and are often number one. Now remember, when they do temperament on beginner lists, they are usually talking about adult specimens. Slings and juveniles you can expect to always be a bit skittish and or defensive. So something to keep in mind. We never make that distinction. We're not talking about babe people will get a juvenile and the juvenile will go nuts and be like, I thought this one was going to be tame. It really, when we're talking about temperament, we're usually talking about adult specimens. So there we go. T. albopilosus, right? Nicaraguan form. The curly hair. Super curly. Oh, hold on. Next up we have Phormictopus salinas. These guys, somebody, and I apologize, somebody asked me for a picture of what mine were, and I completely forgot. I got to start taking notes. I talk to people, I go, oh yeah, I'll get a picture of it, and I forget to write down who asked me. But these guys are definitely looking different than any of the other Phormictopus species I've raised. There's always that concern with Phormictopus because the genus is such a mess, and there they go, that you're going to pick one up that's just one you already have, name something different. But so far, this little girl or guy here is looking very, very different compared to some of the other ones. Is there almost some purple on the carapace? Wow. I didn't even know that. I've seen pictures of supposedly what the adults look like, and they did look different from anything I kept, but obviously we will keep people up to date as to what they look like as they grow. But considering the size, like usually at this point, the Dominican species that I've kept They go from that blue sling at around 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches. So they have that big jump where they go to about 3 and 3.5 inches, and they start picking up some more colors. This one got the colors very early on, lost the blue very early on. So that I thought was unique. So we'll continue to monitor these guys, obviously, and see what they look like. But for folks who have been asking, I know somebody, again, I apologize. Just comment, and I will respond and apologize for not mentioning your name, because I like to mention people's names when they ask me something. But I know somebody said, could you get me some pictures of your salinas? Here is one of them. Beautiful girl. We say beautiful girl. It's going to be a boy, because my luck lately it's been all boys. Oh, crud. I just realized I pulled the water dish out the other day and never put it back in. So we'll put this one aside to make sure she gets a water dish. All right, next up, we have Xenestus species megascopula. The last time I did a feeding video, I featured Xenestus. And unfortunately, this one it buried itself and wasn't eating. Now she is. Last time I fed her, she was bonkers with the feeding response. I'm hoping to get some of that this time. Trying to find this big cricket for her. Boop. Whee! And there they go.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. Whoa, there we go. They all do this thing. I've had almost every single one of them do this thing where they launch themselves completely across the enclosure, grab a cricket, and roll onto their backs. And this one, the last time I did it, it was one of those deals where I went to drop a cricket in, and at the last second, I'm like, this cricket might be too big. Nope, she basically teleported about 5 inches across the enclosure, grabbed it, rolled. She was on her back, eating it. It was amazing. And of course, I didn't have a camera there to get it. So you'll just have to hear my wonderful description of it and try to imagine it. But so far, so good. Again, like the other, we got this one. She was only about, oh God, maybe 1 inch. And now she's pushing probably 2.25 or so. They put on massive size with each molt. So one thing I'm finding with the Xenestus species that I'm loving is the growth rate is absolutely off the chart. So again, they're expensive spiders. I get people don't want to blow that kind of money on it, but know that if you do get one, it's only going to be a couple months and a couple molts before you can feel confident that your spiders are going to be safe and grow and not die in the delicate sling stage. So there we go. Xenestus species megascopula. Megascopula. Sco, right? Latin, let's go. Somebody will correct me. They always do. All right, next up, we have Xenestus species white whiskey. We're going to go drop this right in there, and it's going to just grab it, but hey, it ate. Again, when I got this one, I think it was about 1.25 inches. It's now over 4 inches. And I think that was less than a year ago. So it's growing once again like a weed. These guys grow so fast. And that's why I'm featuring them, because eventually down the road, after I've had these guys for a while and they're adults, I will be able to go back. And I love being able to go, here they are when I first got them. Here they are at juvenile stage. Here they are young adult stage. So it gives me footage for that. So this will get used later on in another video when we're talking about them. But gorgeous spiders. Love the pinks. Hopefully the pinks are coming out in the carapace. And this one still has the lower legs that are obviously much more pale than the femurs. Those red hairs on the booty, just a gorgeous, gorgeous spider. Can't wait to see what it looks like with the next molt, because again, not only do they molt frequently, but they put on a ton of size with each molt. So that is Xenestus. I've heard another way to pronounce it now. I keep changing it. Somebody had one that's like, that sounds really good. Xenithis. I don't know. That was terrible. Sounds like I'm trying to do a French accent or something. Species white. Gorgeous spider. Get covered up now. All right, next up we have my C. olivacum, the Middle Eastern gold, or the black furry tarantula. I have 2 of these. I adore them. And hopefully we can get this one here to eat on camera, because these guys are pretty cool as far as eating is concerned. This one just molted not that long ago. Went from more of a brownish gold coloration to what you see here, almost a blind pictures of them where she almost looks blue. I might flash that up if I can load it up. Yeah, the cricket's going ham. Oh, there we go. What a beauty. You can see the black. I obviously have a thing for black spiders, and there aren't a lot of black, sleek spiders out there. So we have a combination of a spider with a very sleek appearance, not super fuzzy, and that black that when you get it under the right light almost has a bluish sheen to it, but absolutely stunning spider. And supposedly they're a dwarf species, which I have to admit, I don't know if they're full dwarf. I think the females get to be 3 and 3.5 inches. So they're a smaller species of spider from what I've gathered. So this one is probably pushing 3 now. So I'm guessing a molt or so, she'll be an adult. I'm trying to just move this. Is it coming out all right? Or? You see her there looking absolutely gorgeous. She's behaving herself. In a minute, I got to try to get her out of that corner so I can get that poopy out of there. But there we go. See, a lavacium. Nice thing is I did a video on these guys not long ago. And it's kind of more obscure species, but a lot of folks went out and picked them up, and I've seen a lot of folks selling them since then. So I think people are trying them, and so far the feedback I've heard from people has been excellent. They're happy with theirs and really enjoying growing them up. Let's do one more. All right, so next up, we have Xenestus species blue, another one of mine. Hopefully this one will eat for us. We're just going to drop the cooker right there, and there we go. Thank you. I knew one of them would eat. This is the less kicky of the ones that we just, well, I have three of them. One of them is completely burrowed. One of them is the one you just saw that sits on top and kicks. And then this one sits on top and has been rather calm overall. Just know that with those long, gangly legs comes a lot of speed. These guys can move. So it's something I want everybody to be aware of that's picking them up, that the slings are very fast. And I know we don't talk much about terrestrials being teleporters, but I have seen those slings move quicker than my eye can register. So it's always something to keep in mind when you're feeding, to be careful. I have not, knock on wood, had one bolt out of an enclosure, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility. So keep in mind when you're feeding yours, they're beautiful spiders. You're going to want to get images of them and take some pictures. Just be careful because they can really boogie. And hopefully is that pink coming out in the carapace? Yeah. I was like, look at the red. It's a water dish that I got to clean. Like, man, I'm looking at it from a distance. But beautiful spiders. And again, we're not going to do all the Xenestus species because I did them, the majority of them last time we did a feeding video, but we got enough of them here to show a few of them off, show how they're growing. And once again, they are growing very, very quickly. All right, we're hoping to get this one on camera. Last but not least, we have my Psalmopius victorii, who has been, after I said in the video, she hasn't been doing a lot of webbing. You can see what she did here. So we're going to try to go ahead, drop a cricket in, and watch it do nothing. My pokies, if I throw crickets to them, they catch them. And that didn't work there. So let's do this. Boom. Let's get some good shots of that sexy girl. And if you had told me 20 years ago I would refer to a spider as sexy, I would have told you you're nuts. So hopefully she grabbed that other cricket. But there she is. Hopefully the colors are coming. How's she looking?
Good.
Love this spider. We just did, obviously, the Psalmopius species genus review, the long-awaited one, and the reason why it took so long was trying to get footage of some of them, but this one I actually see out and about quite a bit, which is great because she is gorgeous. Turn down the lights just a little bit. Man, what a beautiful girl. And unfortunately, the colors aren't popping, it looks like, as much on the camera as I'd like them to, or it's probably just because the light is right over the camera.
I think it's because she's not up on, if she came up and like sat there for us, it would probably be better, but.
Put one more in there and see if she'll go for a little one. Why do they keep going that way?
Oh, that's better.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there. There's that front half that's dark, the back half that's red. Just really nothing like them in the hobby. So I'm glad I can show her off again. That was kind of one of the superstars of the Psalmopius video that I just did. Everybody was talking about the victorii. I don't blame them. They're gorgeous. I love them all. But I definitely see why people are so enamored with this species. And luckily mine has been, again, kind of a sweetheart. So temperament can always vary. Specimen, specimen. Can't say that enough. But she's a good girl. So there we go. We'll end it off on this note. Psalmopius victorii, the Darth Maul tarantula, or the Mexican half and half. All right, so hopefully I got to show some stuff off there that I haven't shown off before, and I know some people have been asking for updates on some of them. So we're able to update on a couple like the Harpactira species and the Xenestus species. Obviously, someday I would love to do just a feeding collection of everybody, but it just doesn't always work out that way. And as you can see, there's a couple in here where it didn't quite pan out. But at least we got some good footage of spiders, and I got to talk about them a bit. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you liked it enough to subscribe, this was the first thing you saw, and you went, hey, I'm liking what this dude's doing, thank you so much, and click the little circle up there. If you're like, I still don't know what this guy's about, if I want to support him, or maybe I want to learn more about him, feel free to check out some more videos over here. I'm not pushing. If you don't, totally cool. Maybe we'll catch you in the future on another video. As always, if you comment, I'm going to respond. It may take me a couple days because I tend to get a few of them, but know that you take time to comment. I will take the time to reply back to you. Guys, Be safe out there, be kind to each other, and we'll catch you all next time.